Hi, I'm Sarah and welcome to Oh Sarah, So Sarah. Today I'd like to show you how to make your own pants pattern. You will need a pair of pants that you want a copy of, old newspapers or some kind of paper to make a pattern from. You can even use tissue paper that you might buy at Dollar Tree, newsprint, packaging paper. You'll need Scotch tape, pins, a tape measure, and marking utensils. First thing we're going to do is tape our sheets of paper together so that we have some paper to work with. We've got our paper taped together and we're ready to get started. With your pants, you will notice that the back has more room than the front of your pants. So we're going to take this into consideration when we are pinning our pants pattern. Also with this pair of pants, the waistband has 3 pieces of elastic. On the pants that we're going to make, we're going to just make one casing with 1 piece of elastic. So we'll simplify this just a little bit. So we're going to pull this out and get our seam right here. We're going to make our back pattern first. You see the seam? And we're going to pin it securely to the paper because we want our pattern to be as close to the original as possible. Then we're going to pin the center back seam. We're just tucking all the extras underneath. And pinning like this. As you can see, where the pants folds is not the seam. If we flip it over, we can see that the back of the pants, the seam is actually right here. I get to almost 3 inches. Yep, 3 inches. So we're going to add 3 inches and pin it. For this pattern, we're going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance because it will make our math a little bit easier. Normal, typical patterns, store-bought patterns use a 5/8 inch seam allowance. So we've measured the distance from the fold of our fabric to the seam, and we noticed there was a 3 inch difference. We're going to add a 1/2 inch, we're going to add a 1/2 inch to that, making it 3.5 inches because we want to keep in mind our seam allowance. So we're going to put a mark right here where it says 3.5. And we're going to come down. And here's where the fabric folds. And we're going to measure from the fold. And we notice that it's 2.5 inches. So we're going to put a pin here. And we will measure 2.5 inches plus our 1/2 inch for the seam allowance makes it 3 inches. And there's our mark. to come down one more time. Here's our fold. Turn it over. What we did all along is we measured and pinned and marked the side seam allowance. And we're going to go back and let's do the hem. What we're going to do here at the hem is this pair of pants has a 1/2 inch hem. So we're going to keep that in mind. We're going to actually add a 1/2 inch plus the inch, the turning over part, and I'm going to give it an extra inch just in case. I'm going to make the pants pattern 2 inches longer than the end of this pants. I'm going to put a mark here and put a mark here. When we make our casing, we need to include a 1/4 inch to turn the fabric over and then 1 inch for your casing. So we're going to make our marking right here at 1 inch and 1/4. And we're going to continue making our line at 1 inch and 1/4. Make our marks where we allow for a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So we put the 1/2 inch measure of our tape measure on the seam, and we make a little mark where the 1/2 inch would be, and we're going to do that all around the edge of our pants. Then we're going to come back and connect the dots. Grain line arrow because we want the grain line to be up and down, and this arrow means it's a grain line. Okay. And we're going to cut out our pattern from the paper. And you want me to start? I'm going to start on the here and go this way.